Hello everyone. This is another video on the domestic violence series, and I only have a few more to go in order to prepare for tomorrow's live. That will be at 7 p.m. Central. Now, this one is about how to help children find their courage again after a trauma occurs. And while we're focusing this on domestic violence, there is a lot of traumas that happened during everybody's childhoods. And not all of them are domestic violence. So some of the things that's on this list can be turned and used to, be a helpful parenting tool for bullies or a family member that is addicted to drugs or porn or like gambling or anything like that that could put trauma on a childhood. But this is based on domestic violence. So how do you help children find their courage again after trauma? Don't let domestic violence steal away their self-confidence. Author Glennon Melton, and I will say, I've read some of that work, and she's actually really into it. Like, she knows. But author Glennon Melton once said she realized at a certain point that she had gotten the job description wrong for parenting. A parent's role, she says, is not to protect children from fire, but rather to lead them through it and teach them that they're fireproof. Now, I don't want people coming at me saying that, I promote children being put in fires. Like, I know somebody's gonna be saying something. But, it's just a term used to describe helping children. You help them through things. You teach them that no matter what happens, they don't have to be a victim. They don't have to be broken down. For survivor parents who have endured domestic abuse and whose children have been witness to it or a victim of it as well, the guilt that follows can sometimes feel nearly soul-crushing. Will the kids be alright? Will they ever feel safe again? Will they ever be able to trust someone new? After trauma, a parent might find themselves coddling. There's more on that in a little bit, and it's totally fine. Spoiling, there is a bright way to do so. Or helicoptering around their child, determined to protect them from ever feeling fear again. But the truth is, we can't protect our kids from enduring hardships. Life will constantly challenge them. They will encounter mean people again. They will feel fear. Our job as parents is to do as Melton advises. Teach our kids that they've got this, and then lead them through. 5 things that can help, try to help, at least, instill bravery. 1. Reinforce what happened before was not their fault, or your fault. To teach kids how to be brave, we must first teach them to understand their fears. And for children of domestic violence, that means explaining to them that what happened at home was not about them. It's important to remember that children are very egocentric, meaning they think everything wrong revolves around them, or that they are responsible for what happened. So the first thing any parent needs to do is actually talk to their children about what happened and how it is not their fault. 2. Love. Extra attention and coddling is okay. Children can develop post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, after living through or witnessing abuse. Symptoms may include problems with sleep or concentration, not wanting to separate from the parent, or regressing into their behavior such as wetting the bed, not wanting to talk, doing poorly in school, etc. However, it's important to remember that children respond to abuse in many different ways. Even if a child is outwardly doing well, it doesn't mean he or she isn't experiencing PTSD from the abuse. These children still need a chance to talk about the impact of witnessing violence. They can start a conversation with something like, we're safe now, but we had some scary times before. Do you want to talk about it with me? Though a trained therapist should diagnose and treat PTSD, a parent or caregiver can supplement with more closeness with the child. Hugs, cuddles, reassurances, talking, tucking into bed, or just attentive one-on-one time. 3. Ask, and then really listen. Asking kids about what they're feeling and really listening to their responses can be the number one thing parents and caregivers can do to help kids process trauma. Help children express their feeling by giving them feeling words. Are they worried, uncomfortable, overwhelmed, lonely? Also, as you're listening, try to not say that they shouldn't feel that way. Acknowledge their feelings and say, I understand you feel that way. How do you want to feel about it now? 4. Model your emotions, influence theirs. The next step is nurturing a confident and brave new outlook on life, is to examine how you, the parent or caregiver, deal with challenges. Your response will strongly influence how your child reacts to similar situations. Bravery doesn't mean not being afraid. It means you go forward in life even though you are afraid. On that note, you can model this idea in new situations that might be scary. Anxious about talking to a stranger? Show your child it's not scary to ask a store employee for help finding something, or wish someone on the street a good morning. Sign up for a class you and your child can take together, like making a craft or learning how to dance. Show them it can be fun to step outside your comfort zone. And instead of helping children avoid challenges, reassure them that they will be okay as you help navigate them through something tough. I know it's scary, but you've got this, you might say on their first day of school. Or highlight another time that they were brave. I remember when you were afraid to go on that roller coaster, but you did it and you loved it. Sometimes things we think are scary at first turn out to be really fun once we get used to them. And 5. Show. Find examples of bravery and courage. I'm going to add a list on the community page for 40 children's books that teach about bravery. You can also go to goodreads.com and adult novels that talk about courage, young adult novels as well, PBS Kids has cartoons available. I think like Daniel the Tiger or something like that. They all talk about courage. So as you watch the movies, TV shows, or you read books with your children, point out when a character does something courageous. Stand up to his or her fears, or makes a choice not to give up in a daunting situation. Are you a parent currently enduring an abusive partner? That's the question. Second question is, do you have children? Children who are routinely exposed to severe stress, such as domestic violence, can face negative long-term effects on the brain. Chaotic, threatening, and unpredictable situations that excessively activate a child's flight or fight response can make it difficult for that child to access basic skills like planning, focusing, adjusting, and resisting impulse behaviors. According to findings from a Harvard University study on children's brain development, in other words, constant stress can deplete the brain of the energy it needs for essential development. Fortunately, our brains are somewhat elastic. Just as trauma can negatively rewire it, positive changes like getting a child to a safe environment and appropriate therapies can rewire it back. Talk to an advocate. They can always help you make a safety plan as well as a plan to get your children back on track. Be safe, everybody.